do this. Alright, welcome back. Planet Pariah, episode 10, with me, Val, and you.
Noah.
You disgusting. It's our
spooky episode. That was totally not how I planned to say it in my head. It's gonna be like, this is the spooky episode.
It was all happy and like cheerful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
spooky episode.
Yeah.
Welcome. But
Dude,
yeah.
we totally don't have this planned out.
No.
Like structure, like this story first, that story. So
We'll jump
I'm
around
like
a lot.
curious, to see. Like, do you want to try to start from the beginning of like certain encounters, or just do
I don't know,
whatever?
because I have stories that came from my grandparents and my mom.
Oh yeah, same.
So,
Do you want to start with like some of that?
I don't know. You kick it off and I'll follow.
Okay, one of the ones I'll never forget is my mom. It's always cool too, because like they're like younger and it's like the first like of the Ouija board and stuff, and they have like the OG ones.
Oh yeah, you
know?
told me that.
So, my mom and like a couple friends and like some family were out camping, and they're all in the tent, and they started playing the Ouija board.
How old was she? Your mom?
I think she was in her teens, maybe like
Cool.
late teens,
Our age.
so high school and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so were the friends playing. And, so, like, they get through the questions, or, like, they just start playing, like, stupid questions. Like, maybe, like, someone's favorite color, something like that. But then it, like, gets to someone, and they ask, who's gonna die first out of us? Right? And they're doing it, like, the OG way. Like, they have a candle in the middle, and, they're doing it, whatever. And then, like, it doesn't move, and then all of a sudden they said that the candle just tips. Like, they're all waiting for the response, and the candle just tips over, and then the whole tent, like, comes up in flames. Stormy's being weird.
I
Ew.
hadn't heard him make that noise before.
I know. Anyways, the whole tent comes up in flames, and they're all in this whole-ass tent, so they're all, like, freaking out. So it's almost like my mom was saying, it's almost like they're like, okay, well, let's find out who dies first, you know?
Oh.
Yeah. And so they try to get out of the tent, but like the zipper is jammed.
Yeah.
Out of all things, you know, the zipper's jammed, and so they start screaming, and like the dads, like the family,
Mm-hmm.
and like the parents are like out, and then like they're different tent, but then like they hear them, so then they come and like they grab a knife and like rip the tent apart,
Yeah.
and then they all have to like escape from like the fiery tent. I always thought that was cool, because back then I don't think they think of that crazy of like ghosts and stuff,
Yeah.
and so
It wasn't like a popular thing to talk about, I don't think.
yeah, and I think my mom has a lot actually. It would be kind of cool to like maybe have her like on here,
podcast.
but like
That'd be
yeah, because
dope.
she would like see things, and she has like traumatic like stories.
Yeah, you've told me a couple, because we've been friends for so long. I think even she told us one. But
Yeah.
like close encounters with death or whatever with her.
Yeah, exactly.
she's, like,
And one
cursed or
where
whatever.
that literally made her mute. She was mute from
What, your
from
mom?
fear. Yeah, she was mute for like I don't know how long because of fear.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I didn't
it's
know that.
crazy. Yeah, I should have her on here.
Damn, dude. Yeah. Episode 20. Every episode with the zero. We'll
Yeah,
talk about demons, aliens, ghosts, or whatever.
yeah,
Because we
That'd be
both have
cool.
a lot of stories, like, combined.
yeah. We do like that happened to both of us. And
Yeah. And then separately, I have a few.
yeah. See.
That let Stormy out.
Oh yes.
He wants no part of these spooks stories.
He started whimpering.
Whimpering. Probably because the demon that came in. It did get colder in here, honestly. That's the AC, so. Okay, wait. Before we go any further, the preface. Do you believe in ghosts?
Yes. Do you?
It sounds really stupid because of how many stories and stuff and things that we've seen and encountered, but I
Mhm.
feel it's wavered. Because it used to be, yes, but now it's, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's gone back to, I don't know. Because, I don't know, it's just, I guess I'm skeptical now. Because there has been a bunch of things that I can't explain or whatever, but it just could have been like, oh, I was tired, or, I don't know. It's unless I see like a full-bodied man running towards me or whatever.
Yeah, I get
and
that.
It disappears, or like something like that, where it's super late. I cannot definitively, say I was tired, or I don't know, something like that. It's just I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, but I also feel like they wouldn't be such a like a topic if they weren't. Like,
So
where did it come
elusive
from?
and mysterious. Yeah. I get it. I don't know. I think it's also good in like our dynamic now that you believe or whatever, and I'm like a kind of a healthy skeptic or whatever, like a healthy amount of skepticism to disprove or dissuade or whatever, a belief of something. But yeah, there's been. I don't know. I feel like an idiot because it's like there has been so many things that have happened to us that just like how can I say that?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I like being afraid. I like being scared. That was like part of the allure of us like going out and how these stories came to be was us looking for the next big high or whatever. Like we were adrenaline junkies.
Yeah,
to an
pretty
extent.
much.
Yeah.
Stupid kids. Now that I think about it, like we're so young.
Oh yeah.
Out
like,
in the night doing nothing. Like yeah.
Yeah, being out where kids shouldn't be at a certain time, where kids should be in bed.
Yeah.
And a safe place.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think about it now. Like the shit. Like some stories. Like they could have easily just been killed.
Yeah.
Or something.
Like real life scary stuff.
Yeah.
Not just spooky scary stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So next spooky story. Do you just want to go back and forth and trade stories?
We can.
Okay, because that was one of your moms, so I'll tell one of my moms. And it's one I told kind of last week to another group of friends. But anyways, so when my mom was in high school, she was, I don't know if she was on the basketball team, but she was a part of it somehow. Like maybe like the person in charge of the equipment and stuff, equipment manager, some sort of manager position.
Yeah.
But anyways, this is out in West Texas, so like kind of older part of Texas. And it's like a stormy night, it's raining. Just like it is now. No. Actually, it was raining a lot harder, and there was a lot more lightning and thunder and stuff. It was a storm. And they pull up to this school, the school that they're playing at. So they're the visiting team, obviously. And like right from the get-go, as soon as they pull up, they look over at like a school, like a classroom window or whatever. Flash of lightning. There's an old man staring back at them through the window.
Ew, goddamn.
And then he disappears with the flash. And they're all like, ooh, scary. And it was like the typical, like, man in raincoat with a hook arm or whatever kind of scenario. And then next flash of lightning, there's nobody in the window. It's weird. And it's like, that was maybe a janitor. I don't know, spooky. And so, like, all the girls or whatever were, like, spooking each other out, like, stormy night. And so whatever. They unload all the stuff, get into the gym, they play their game. Game's over. It's a little later at night. Probably, like, say 8 o'clock. It's nighttime. Really, really super dark because of the dark, thick storm clouds. It's coming down hard, coming down heavy, lightning, thunder, all the works. The game's over. Everybody's kind of out of the gym or whatever. It's just my mom's coach and my mom. And the coach is like, hey, can you go turn off the lights? It's on the other side of the gym. And then just meet us in, like, the center area of the school or whatever, near the offices. She's like, yeah, sure. And so she walks all the way across the gym to where there's like the exit doors or emergency exit doors or whatever, but it's also the switches. I don't know why the switches are over there because that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, so she turns off the lights, flash of lightning, goes through the window because the doors have the windows or the little slits of glass or whatever, and it illuminates the gym or whatever. And it's like,
scary.
It's like a scary image or whatever of like a dark room immediately being lit up for a second and going away. So your imagination kind of takes hold. But my mom turns around. And when that happened, a little bit of the light stayed in the room, and it turned into like a white mist, and it came up from the ground and formed into like a little cloud, and it started coming towards my mom. And so she like screams or whatever, and she runs around it on the outside of the gym and runs towards the doors so she can get into the like main part of the school. Yeah. And she does that. She closes the doors and she looks inside, and it like kind of dissipates into the.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that's just the beginning.
Yeah, and it's like weird coming from like your parents because like why lie to us,
Yeah, like maybe if you're a kid to like scare you, but like she told me this like when I was in middle school, when I started having my own scary stories with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so then she told her friends about that, and they're like, "Oh, it's spooky" or whatever. And I guess maybe because it was raining so hard or whatever, and they were waiting for it to like kind of die down to leave, but they got to explore the school for a little bit. And so her and her friends like started walking around in classrooms, or not classrooms, but the hallways, looking into classrooms, trying to get into classrooms to like kind of look around or whatever. Because it was like how most schools are, where it's like the certain lights are on in the hallways, so it's always lit up. So you always think somebody's there, so nobody breaks in, I guess.
Yeah.
And then the classroom lights are all off. So they're like looking in through the doors or whatever, through the little glass in the doors, and like looking in the classrooms, like, oh wait, we see somebody or whatever.
Yeah.
And all the while they're doing that, it's, raining, coming down hard, lightning, the lights would flicker or whatever sometimes because of how hard the storm was hitting, and the PA system would come on sometimes.
Ew.
Like it would come on. The office is locked. Nobody's in the office.
Yeah.
Office is locked. PA system is only in the office, and it would come on like the noise of boop, boop, and then just kind of like.
Ew, that's
like
gross.
Low static.
Yeah.
And then it would turn off like, and it would be off, and it was just kind of like, oh, that's weird. Maybe it's the storm or whatever. They're walking down towards the end of the school, far away from where everybody else is, and they look into like a kind of a science lab structured classroom where there's like a science desk at the front, and then there's like desks, like normal student desks, all in the rest of the room. And this is on the edge of the building, so in that classroom, there's also really big windows so you can see outside. And they all look into the window and the door, and they see a man looking outside in the law classroom. He's just at the window looking outside with his back turned towards them or whatever. And they're all looking at him, and flash of lightning, and like with the flash or whatever, he turns around and looks at them or whatever.
Oh my god!
And then he starts running or whatever, like full speed towards them or whatever. And they like
so
all
gross.
scream or whatever,
Yeah.
and they take off down the hallway or whatever. I think this may have been my little child brain adding more spice to the story or whatever, but I think my mom said there was a thud at the door, like someone slammed into it or like punched it or whatever, and when they were already down the hall.
Yeah.
And so they like keep running or whatever, and it's like they're laughing like, oh, that was so scary or whatever, like how we would be back in the day. It was like, oh, that was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Sort of thing. And they're walking down back towards like the front of the school to meet up with their coach and everybody else to, I guess, leave. And then the PA system goes off again, and this time it's like heavy static, like whoop, whoop. And then they said in the static they heard voices, like little low whispering voices in the static.
That's so gross.
And then and that goes on for like a minute, and they all stopped because it was like scary. It's like,
yeah,
what is
it's
happening?
like, what is this?
Yeah, what is that? And then it goes off, and then they run towards the front of the school, and then they leave. And when they're leaving on the bus or whatever, just like in a freaking movie, dude, those doors or whatever that my mom was next to when she switched off the light, the emergency doors for the exit of the gym, when the bus was leaving, she looked at them, flash lightning, that old man that they saw at the beginning was in the window.
Ew.
And then they left.
Was there ever like a story of like an old man dying around there?
I don't know. It's an old school, so maybe. But
or like
so
a teacher, yeah.
my mom and her friends obviously had friends at that school who played basketball or whatever. It's kind of like how it is here, the two rival high schools in the town.
Yeah.
And they were telling them the stories of the stuff that happened at their school after everybody else was gone. And the people who went to that school who were friends with my mom, or my mom's friends, said, wait, that room where that dude turned around and chased towards you, was it this room in this part of the school? And my mom and her friends were like, yeah, how do you know? And they're like, when we went to school the next day, all those desks were pushed out of the way in a line, straight from that window to the door.
Oh my god.
And then my mom got chills, and whenever she's
I
telling
just
me the
got
story. Yeah, me
chills.
too. Retelling the story, I get chills every time my mom had gotten chills when she told me. But yeah, that was my mom's go-to ghost story to tell.
Ew, I just got chills.
Yeah, it's weird, dude.
It's so gross.
But if I saw that, it's like there's no denying that.
Yeah,
it physically pushed stuff and things like that in a locked room where nobody else was in or had access to at that time.
Wow.
So yeah, it's my mom's story, or one of them at least.
That's crazy. I keep thinking of people that have told me stories, and how I just want them to say it because it's so much better. Like someone that I know always has stories is my grandma. My Momo is what I call her.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of funny because she's really religious, and so there's kind of a stigma of do they believe in actual ghosts that are
the ghost story ghosts.
Yeah. And so but she has stories, and they're so I don't know, they're so good coming from her, I guess because it's an older lady, and
there's more spooky stigma.
Yeah, honestly I feel we could actually get her on here, and I want to wait for that. So I don't want to half-ass like tell her story.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I mean, we
Yeah.
have so many stories between us.
Yeah,
So.
I think I would just keep between like me and you or something.
All
Like
right.
I don't remember the whole context of that one. We're at Fuentes, which is our elementary school.
Oh, I do. The first one?
Yeah, the one of the video.
Oh, that one? That's like the second time. The first time was with the window.
With the
Yeah, let's just say it. All right, so
yeah, go ahead.
was this the first time that we hung out just without your boy JJ across the street?
Dude, it might
I
have
think it
been,
was.
yeah, because we went straight into just like doing stupid trespassing shit.
Yeah, it was just kind of like it just clicked for us. It was like, yeah, we're doing this now.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
It's
we
weird.
had our ripsticks or whatever, and so we were young. We were still in middle school, maybe 8th grade. So
Yeah, because we were
either
like
12
not
or
stupid,
13.
stupid.
We weren't.
We're like
I mean,
aware.
we've always been smarter than most people. I think.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we went to the old elementary school that we had both gone to, and because it's like kind of on the outside of our neighborhood or whatever, and it's just kind of like, hey, that's a place that we have access to as kids
Yeah, we know it. We know the
with no
area,
cars. Yeah, we know the area or
the
whatever.
hallways, and where to. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, let's just walk around the outside and maybe we'll scare each other. Maybe we'll see something. That
Yeah,
we're
and I
not
think we
supposed
also
to.
thought like maybe we could like get in somehow because I remember like
Yeah,
the
before we
doors.
knew about security systems or whatever.
yeah, and I don't. Yeah, but
Yeah, obviously, I don't know. It's a little fuzzy because of how far away it's been or how long it's been. But yeah. So it got to we were sneaking next to the school to like sneak up to the big cafeteria with all the windows on the walls or whatever. But by doing so,
shit, I remember this.
you were like by my right and my left to my back kind of was the windows of the classrooms that against the wall that we were walking
Yeah.
next to kind of avoid the camera. Yeah, we were avoiding the camera.
We were
so
going like right under it.
Yeah, so where we could go and test the door and see if it would open and we can go into the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go. And I remember we got to like the third classroom window and you looked at me and then you did like a double take and you were looking behind me and you're like, Noah, there's something like behind you or there's something in the window. And I was like, oh my god. It was like a TV show movie moment where I took a gulp or whatever and I turned around and I looked at it. The silhouette of a child
and it's
in the window
stayed there. I got chills
stared
because I really
there.
remember it.
It's like he was staring right back at us, watching us walk by the window.
Yeah.
And like its chest or whatever was like a red light, and I think it was like pulsating, like not like a heart, like boom 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 boom, but like it was like a like an opening and a closing, or slow pulse or whatever. And we like both like had an audible like and then like we ran away or whatever. We didn't care about the camera anymore.
Yeah.
And we like ran towards the playground, which is like right across the little street pathway or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that freaked us out or whatever. And after that, it was just kind of like we were scared, riding off that scare high. And I remember seeing like it looked like arms and legs are popping out in front of windows in the cafeteria. Probably, honestly, they weren't there, but like just you were scared, and it was like after what you'd seen, it was like, oh, anything's possible.
Yeah.
And I remember we kind of calmed down and collected ourselves, and we're like, hey, let's walk close again. And then I think I was just kind of like, oh, dude, I swore I saw an arm or a leg sticking out in the window.
Yeah,
because the cafeteria is lit up a little bit.
And what made it so like, okay, that's possible is because there's that story of that kid.
Oh yeah, I was gonna save that for the end though, because that's when I made the connection was later.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, and then we were like walking past the school, and we were kind of like freaked out. It was like 9 o'clock. It was 10 o'clock, dark outside. We weren't supposed to be there really because you're trespassing. Like if you're there long enough, there's a chance somebody will come by and tell you to leave.
Oh yeah, there's always like the
dude in the truck.
Yeah, the truck, like the district school truck.
Yeah.
That comes by.
But yeah, and then we walked by the portables, and I remember I swore you didn't see it, but I swore that a curtain closed in one of the windows of the portables. So I remember seeing the exit sign, the glow of it, or whatever in the window. And we were talking, and I looked back up, and it looked like it had moved a little bit. And I was like, what? And then I realized that it was closed now. And it was covering the exit sign. I was like, oh, geez. And then we jumped the fence, and we went home.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember at home, the next day, I made the connection that a year before, or like whenever we were 5th graders, there was a 1st grader. I'm not going to say his name, but he was a little boy, and he passed away of a heart disease.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember because they had whole ceremonies about it. We went outside and we like released balloons and stuff.
Yeah, and it was a big thing for the school.
It was a big thing because I was like the first kid to ever pass away while attending the school, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, and now like 5 years later, or not 5, but like 2 or 3 years later, we see that
We're there.
silhouette in the window,
Yeah.
and then we remember the red light in the chest, and it's like, dude, was that kid?
Yeah, exactly.
And so like whenever I tell the story, it's like that was the kid.
Yeah,
We saw him, and
the
he
kid.
saw us.
Yeah,
And
then
I think that was even the first grade classrooms back in the day. So it lined
yeah,
up. All the
on
story
ends.
beats lined up.
Yeah.
And it was
And
just like,
then-
that's weird.
Didn't your mom have like an experience of like a kid in Fuentes? Of like
Oh.
a ghost.
Okay,
type
yeah. Do you want to? I'll keep telling my mom's stories.
I mean, unless you'd actually want her to come on here.
She could. We'll save this for the end because we have enough stories between us, like just
Yeah,
our own
yeah.
experiences.
Yeah.
Like even at that school, there's another story
Yeah, there was like another one of.
because
I think we were just talking about ghosts.
yeah, because
and we're
after that
still-
it was like, dude,
Let's go there and
Let's
like
go, let's get
nothing.
proof or
Let's see if
whatever.
something else happens again.
yeah,
Yeah, so one of the proofs is what? I think our mind was like, okay, you record me doing this, and let's see if we catch anything on like video, because
Yeah.
we're like that was known of like you could see it on video.
yeah.
Of,
Like,
like,
you can
certain-
see more on video than you would your naked eyes or whatever for whatever reason. When it comes to like UFOs or ghosts or whatever, there's more of a
Yeah.
chance you'll catch it on technology as opposed to like audibly hearing or visually seeing something with your own eyes. yeah.
So
We had to jump a fence for this one and actually like trespass
yeah,
into the
like,
courtyard of the school. And I remember we snuck up along the wall of the gym.
mhm.
And I remember, do you remember this? We saw a white mist in the cafeteria in front of that door that goes
Oh,
into the
yeah.
cafeteria.
And then
And I was like,
That
hold
door.
on. Because I was trying to be a skeptic and be like, there's probably just a headlight, like a car headlight or whatever
Yeah.
that we saw. Because it went from one side of the door to the next.
mhm.
And so we waited like a fair like 6 minutes, I feel like. And well, I saw headlights go both right to left and left to right, and different colors and different lights or colors or whatever.
And it wasn't
Nothing
the
matched.
same.
Nothing
yeah.
matched. Nothing was the same. And the lights were turned off in the cafeteria this time and in the gym. And so it was like super dark. I don't know. It was weird. So at that point, I get out my phone. I started recording. I was looking into the gym windows and looking into the cafeteria windows.
Mhm.
And that's when I told you, like, hey,
Go.
go shake those doors to the hallway to get into the
Yeah,
school or whatever.
The same door we saw, yeah. And then so I go and I touch the door, do exactly what
You
you
shake
said.
it, you look
shake
in,
it.
and then
Yeah.
you walk off, and I'm like, okay, it's my turn
Yeah.
now. And I walk up, and I do the same thing, exactly what you did. Shake the
Mhm.
door, and I kind of look in or whatever. And then we didn't see anything, and we're like, okay, let's go
Whatever.
before we get caught
Yeah.
or whatever.
We'll like play back the
Yeah, I'll play back later.
Yeah.
And so we went home.
I thought we played it back there.
I don't know, we might have.
I think we did, and that's when we were like,
No, because we didn't catch anything. And it wasn't until I was home later that night.
okay, yeah, but then I remember like you showing me.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, so we go home. I drop you off or whatever because you're along the way. And then I go to my house. And I take a shower and I'm in bed now. And I look at the video because I'm not expecting anything. So it's like there's nothing to be afraid of. And so I'm looking at the video. And it's all normal. Like I can see, like you see, like looking into the windows and stuff. And then it's like me directing you to go touch the door handle and look in or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go up and it's my turn and I go touch the door handle. And I remember looking down at my hands, touching the door handle, and looking up at the camera and looking into the window. And then that's when I saw it and I hit pause. There was like a silhouette of like a little clear. It looked like there was a kid there standing in the hallway, like kind of close to where the door was. And I
Yeah.
was like, what the heck? And I got scared immediately because I was like, everybody's asleep. I'm up and it's really late at night. And it's like, I have a video of this thing. And so I like, is that real? Is that just my phone? Because back then it was like an older like phone. Like it was a
Mhm.
smartphone, but smart for the time. What was it,
Yeah.
like 2010 or something? But yeah, and then I press play again. And I watch it, and it's like consistent. Like there's something standing there, and
Yeah.
it's like distorting light in a way. And I stop the video and I go back to look at it again. And I press play, and it was only then that I realized there's no more audio. Like as soon as I saw on camera that there was a thing there, the audio cut out of the
Yeah.
video. And whenever we
Mhm.
watched it at the school, there was audio all the way through.
Yeah.
And it was
exactly.
like, what the heck? And so I played it back again, and I watched it, all the video from the very beginning, to make sure, is my phone screwing up? And this time, instead of, whenever you see the thing in the window, as soon as I touch the door handles to the hallway, the audio cuts out.
Yeah, it cuts out. I remember
I'm
that. As soon as you touch it, there's no more audio.
And
when
so
before there was.
The next day, I came over to your house, and I showed you the video or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and it did the exact same thing of, it cut out as soon as I touched the door handle. I told you that, and you're like, what? And it did that, and you had me play it back again, but this time there was no audio to the video completely.
Yeah.
It was just all gone.
Yeah. Which is
yeah,
freaking crazy.
Freaky.
And why? And I think I remember we just oh, maybe it's your speakers, so we play something else and it's fine.
Yeah.
And then
all
we go back.
Everything else is fine, and that video is just mute now.
Yeah, completely mute.
And I wish I kept it, but I was too scared. So I was like, there's a ghost in my phone.
I was going to say, what happened to it?
I deleted it.
Probably, yeah.
I kept it for a week, and then I was scared that it was going to make its way into my house or something.
Yeah, I mean,
so I
the
deleted
audio was gone. Yeah, that's the one I always remember. Because it was so weird, because the audio was there.
Yeah, it was there, and then it would cut out piece by piece.
Yeah, and then when I heard it, and then it was completely done.
Yeah. And going off of that, there's been little things, whenever I talk about, this was a me thing, but after Michael Jackson passed away, there was that CNN interview or whatever. They're looking at his the locks on his doors, and then you look down the hallway and you see freaking Michael Jackson just walking down the hallway. And that video scared the crap out of me when I saw it as a kid. I remember I came to your house and I told you about it, and the lights in your room flickered whenever we talked about it.
Yeah.
And that freaked me out. And I thought it was just a one-off thing, but it happened with me and Danley. A year later, I told him about it, and the lights in his room flickered. I was like, that is weird, dude. And then years later after that, sometime in high school, I was probably 16, I think. I was in my girlfriend at the time's house, and it was her birthday party, and there was a lot of people up there, in an upstairs, kind of lounge area upstairs, and we had the lights on. And it somehow came in conversation, ghosts or whatever, and I told her about the Michael Jackson ghost and how it's been a thing, the lights flicker off or whatever whenever I talk about it. And she's like, no, they don't. So I was like, all right, want to bet? And then so I started talking about it, and all the lights upstairs start flickering and dimming.
That's crazy.
And she gets super scared, and her little brother crawled underneath the table. And I was like, I did not expect that to happen, but it happened. And after that, it hasn't happened since. But it happened 3 times, and I called it before the 3rd time. And it's just, I don't know, it's weird. It's a weird coincidence. So is it actually a coincidence because it happened 3 times?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Weird. Another one that stands out, or we would always go to the graveyard. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Cemetery.
The cemetery. We'd always go to the cemetery, kind of just to spook ourselves and see if something was going to happen.
Yeah, because once we got cars, we didn't have to stick around our neighborhood anymore.
Yeah.
We got our fair fill of, stuff that happened around here.
Yeah, and it was, something to do. There was even, a gym, a Pokemon Go gym there.
Yeah.
And, but we did that before and stuff.
Before that, I would go on my own. It was kind of a place that I had heard about, the Hanging Tree Cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
Where apparently, some people who drive by will see a body swaying in the wind because they were hung on that tree.
Yeah, it's a common thing in our town because in the past that tree was known as the hanging tree, and they would hang people.
Yeah.
And it's still there. And then past this our cemetery to the side, it's the old cemetery, just rocks as gravestones.
The Pioneer Cemetery.
Yeah.
Yeah, where unnamed graves and sunken in holes where bodies are probably at.
It's pretty scary.
Yeah, I remember I showed you that place, right? I was like, dude, it's weird here. So. And then so I brought you there one time.
Yeah.
And that just became a spot that we'd go to scare ourselves.
Yeah.
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 Is the story you're talking about the summer school squad story?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, because I've been talking the entire time.
I think we'll do that one. Yeah, we had a summer school squad, whatever. It was 5 of us. And we all packed in, and one of the, I don't know if we want to do names or something, whatever. We packed in one of the girls' cars.
Okay, we'll call her Liz. So it was me, Noah, you, Val, your friend, called Callie.
Callie.
Is it cool if we say her name?
Yeah, it's fine. My friend Caroline.
And then we have Liz, and then we'll call him Jammy.
Jammy, yeah. 'Cause we don't really know him anymore, so.
He's cool. I follow him on Instagram stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jammy.
Yeah, we all like met each other in summer school. All of us were from like our high school except for Jamie. He was from
The rival
the
high
rival
school.
school, which was like cool because we all, like we made friends during summer school and like we stuck. And I think it was like me and you, like we wanted to go because we'd gone in the past to the cemetery.
Yeah.
So it was like let's all go and
It's
like spook
let's
each
scare
other.
each other.
And it was dark. And let's see like the seating arrangements. You were driving?
I was driving Liz's car.
Yeah, you were driving Liz. Liz was in the passenger.
Mm-hmm.
It was.
And then it was
I think
Caroline, you in the middle, and then Jamie
me in the middle
behind
and
me.
Jamie. Yeah.
And okay, and the reason we went was because earlier in that day, or like the night before, I went by myself and I had driven through the cemetery and I was making fun of the names.
Oh yeah. I was gonna mention that you always do this in the past too. You make fun of the names, and you did that when we were there too, right?
Yeah,
you did it
I was
again.
like, I got a reaction out of it. Like I forgot what happened to me on my own, but it something happened and it spooked me and I drove off. And I was like, that's how I get something to happen. Because at that point, that spot had kind of grown a little stale. Because they're just kind of like, oh, it's scary. Dead people were here. Whatever.
Yeah, nothing new.
Yeah, but after I got a reaction from that, and you're not supposed to do that. Because for one, it's disrespectful.
You're disrespecting.
And for two, if you engage in like a negative spirit or whatever and you taunt them, that gives them like grounds to like come up and smack you or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then I got the idea. I was like, hey, let's get everybody together, Val, and let's go there because I got something that's gonna make stuff happen.
Yeah.
And
then we go, and one of the first like names, one of like the bigger gravestones too, is it like something Johnson? Roderick. Yeah. Okay. And you start making fun of it. And obviously it's a male, whatever. And I think you stayed making fun of just that one.
It was that one, and then there was another one. But yeah, Roderick was the main one.
Yeah, and so we're going, and like the placement was like important. Like that's why I'm saying we're all like in a different seat, obviously in the car. We're packed, and then I think like we joke of like, oh, we see this pair of like red eyes.
No. I slowed down the car because I was like, no. Liz is freaking out already because it's like, don't do
I remember that. Yeah,
Liz was just curled up on the ball in the passenger seat, and I like slowed down the car. She's like, "What are you doing?" And I put it in park. I parked the car, and I don't think I unlocked it, but I was gonna roll down the windows.
I think we joked about unlocking it though.
Yeah,
like,
we were
just scaring.
We're at a standstill in the cemetery, and we're in the very back of it. Not as far back as you could go, but like as far back as the trail let us go at that point.
Yeah, and it's pretty dark. I mean, it's dark. There's no lights here.
Dark.
There's no lights here at all.
No,
I don't know if
except
we
for like the
that.
few that decorate a grave or whatever that twinkle in the
but
night.
They're just like
at
dim.
Night, it was dark.
Yeah, super dark.
Yeah.
And then
it was the first thing that happened was I think we were trying to scare each other because it was like nothing else is happening. So me and Valerie were like, oh
yeah, because we're just dicks.
And then in all of our left ears, we hear a man's voice go like that.
Yes, and it was like if it went closer to us.
It almost felt like you could feel the breath of a man's, like I don't know, just being that close to your ear.
Yeah, and which is weird because all of ours just left ear, and we're all in a different position and like different like areas of the car. Like there's no way because we heard it right in our ear.
Yeah,
all of us.
And it got a reaction out of me. Like I kind of twinged up or whatever.
Yeah, literally
was like,
all of us. And then this is when like Caroline freaks out. Everyone kind of freaks out like
at the same time.
And it's crazy because like some of us are like, I didn't expect people to like, this is something like this to happen. Panic. Like the way they're freaking out.
And I was giggling because I was like, Jamie, why'd you breathe in my ear, or why'd you like talk to me or whatever?
Yeah.
Because it all happened at the same time to all of us, but we all had different reactions. Like the two girls on the far right side, Liz and Caroline, were freaking out and like on the verge of tears.
Mm-hmm.
And then me and Jamie were confused because I thought it was him, and he was like, "Well,
like no, like what was that?" I think he was kind of scared, but he was just kind of.
Because I thought you were scared too.
I don't know. I think I was just kind of like what the hell was that?
I think the paranoia was rising in the vehicle for all of us.
Also, especially because like these people are freaking out, and I'm like, you never see that side of them. Like they're freaking out.
Yeah, these people are curled up in balls crying.
Yeah, and it was just really bad. Like the whole vibe was like really creepy.
And while I was talking to Jamie, like, dude, why? Like that was you. You did that, and he's like, no, I didn't. And like me and Jamie in the group, we had been both known to like mess with people or whatever. And so I figured it was just like him, and he's not giving up on the joke or whatever. It's like, no, you did that to me. And he's like, no, I didn't. And I was like, dude, give it up. And while we were talking about that, was it Caroline or Liz that said, outside there's like red eyes or whatever.
I don't remember.
Because after that, like while that was happening, I think it was Caroline, and then Liz looked and she screamed or whatever.
Yeah, because I don't think Liz was looking at anything.
No,
Like,
she was
she was
looking at
done.
herself, and she was like grabbing my arm, telling me to go or whatever. And then that Caroline like yells and says like, I don't know, something. But apparently, according to them, a pair of red eyes came up out of the ground and formed into like a silhouette, and it started gliding towards the car. That's what I remember them saying. And so they were yelling at me to go. Like, Caroline was saying, go, or like yelling at me to go. And then Liz
totally
like yells, like,
and that's
go.
when I was kind of like scared because they're obviously they're freaking
they're
out.
seeing something that I'm not seeing. And it's like, I'm not going to stay. And so like I like peel out and we go.
And it was just, it was so
leave.
crazy. It's like a movie. It's like, go. And like, they're freaking, it's just crazy. Like the whole vibe. It was so crazy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. That's one thing one of the things I'll never forget.
Yeah, that's one of the things too for me. It's like that's something that happened that I can't explain.
Yeah.
That yelling in all of our left ears as if it was like one person doing it to all of us.
Yeah, well, all at the same time.
But it happened collectively at the same time. And then the girls seeing something that I didn't see because I was still stuck up on it. I thought Jamie was joking or messing with me. At that point, I didn't realize that y'all heard that too until we were on the road going back towards the town, and we all realized that we had all heard the same thing.
Yeah, the man boy. Oh God.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
So many things have happened in that cemetery to me too, with different groups. Like there's a tree in there that has a bunch of chimes on it. I remember I was with a group of old coworkers from Chick-fil-A because I like showing people this stuff. It's like, Noah's creepy or whatever. It's like, I'm creepy? Well, let me show you what I got. And so I brought them there one time. First time I ever brought the crew from Chick-fil-A. We got out of my friend, I don't know, we'll call him Brandon, his truck. And I was peeing next to his truck. And they're kind of like waiting for me because it's like, this is scary. They're scared but trying to play it off as like, oh, we're strong men or whatever.
Just because how pitch dark black it is, it's kind of just scary.
It can get super dark. And even when it's lit up by the moonlight, it's lit up enough that you can still make shapes out of shadows and freak yourself out or whatever. But we were walking up the trail to go into the cemetery or whatever because it's like a little bit of a walk from the gate to the actual cemetery where all the bodies are. And while we were walking there, we're halfway up there. They waited for me to get up there with them, and then we started walking. We heard, but like more high pitched and like someone auto-tuned it or something. But the thing that scared me was on the way there, I talked about a demon baby story I heard about like back in the day. It was like a carriage driver. He went to a cemetery and he like saw a woman crying, and then like he went over to console her or whatever, and he turned around as like a demon. And it was like on all fours, and he ran back to his carriage, and like this thing was chasing him all the way back into the town or whatever. Something like that. And that was before we got there. And so whenever we got there and I heard that, I looked around, my eyes like were wide open. It was like, cause I was just imagining this baby demon running towards us. And it was a sound I'd never heard before. And it got to the point where it was coming towards us, and it was coming over this hill or whatever. It got to a point where it sounded like it was so close that I should be able to see it, even though it was kind of dark, but the moonlight was out. So I should have seen something where the sound was, but nothing matched up. So we all freaked out. We ran back to the truck and left. But anyways, chime tree. This is like the third time I brought this group. We're walking through. One of them can speak Spanish. And we're walking past this tree with chimes. No wind that night. Like there had been not even a breeze or anything. So I was trying to do the things of like knocking on benches to get like, knock this pattern or whatever. And nothing would come back except for one time. I knocked twice, and then we heard it from across the way. And I was like, that could have been coincidence or whatever. I tried 3 times before, and it just so happened to work on the last time. And so we're walking down the path a little bit, and then there's the chime tree. And there's like so many different kinds of chimes on the tree or whatever, on different parts of it. Some are hanging over the trail, some are like directly in like the trunk of the tree or whatever. But anyways, there's just a variation. And so I said out loud, like, if there's anybody here, like, make these chimes like ring or whatever. And nothing happened. And I was like, hey, John, say it in Spanish. And so he did. And then they all start going crazy. No wind or anything, but they all start going off. And I was like, what the heck? And that kind of freaked us out. And that was like a little thing that happened, I guess. There was also
I don't know if you remember one of the times, but like, we would just go, me and you, like just alone, and
Yeah.
like we would be like, all right, it's fine, and
At the cemetery?
yeah,
Okay.
and like we're just like good. I remember one specific time we both told ourselves that we just had like a really bad vibe about it.
Because we both feel like we have a good gut feeling when it comes to these things.
And then like towards the end of it, it was like those orangey like red eyes, but like moving
Oh yeah.
with us, and it was like as if it's like an animal on like four on all four legs, like going like chasing after the car.
There's been a ton of stuff that's happened there. Like I remember seeing, it could have just been like, you know, the shadows and the lights playing tricks on my eyes, but I remember being there on my own one time driving through, and it looked like someone was hiding behind big headstones.
Ew.
Whenever I drive a certain way, they would jump from one to the next one to like kind of keep up with me, and that like was kind of like, ugh, that's weird. But I just chalked it off to like shadows or whatever. There was one time I was there with a mutual friend who lives down the street, who's a girl, and the Chick-fil-A crew or whatever. And that was the first time I took them into the Pioneer Cemetery, and we heard growling in the thicker trees around it or whatever. And that was weird, so we backed out. And then it was the girl down the street, our mutual friend, who screamed. And like we looked down as we were walking out of the Pioneer Cemetery into the bigger, more maintained cemetery. And we all look, and there's like a tarantula that looks like it has flesh. It had patches of fur like a normal tarantula would have fur, but it was patches, and it looked like a hand crawling.
Ew.
But like it had like hair, really thick hair on its knuckles, and like on the butt of the tarantula too.
Ew, and that's just weird to see a tarantula too.
Yeah, I've never seen one out here in the wild or whatever, but it was like a big tarantula just like casually walking, but it had like pink flesh on it.
Ew.
And some fur or whatever, but it was weird. I remember I had a picture of it. That was on my old phone though. Yeah, that was just a weird occurrence. And then that was like the time with the chime tree and stuff. And then something that would also happen, which I'm not so sure of anymore, but it's happened enough times to both of us when we were together. But the tree demon thing.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that because we're so used to it.
Yeah, and that started in your driveway one night when we were in middle school, just talking in your dad's truck.
Yeah, we would do
that
that
in the back
a lot.
of the truck.
Or just talk in front of my house. That was like a common thing for us to do.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to say it? And it was, how did it even happen? Oh, we just like start noticing that like things are falling close to us.
Yeah.
And you just like hear it hit the ground. We're like, okay, it's just like acorns and stuff. But then like, so we just keep talking and we kind of just brush it off. But then it gets like even more like intense, and then like some things are like starting to hit us.
Yeah.
And then we're just like, wait, like what is this? Like, because it's not like windy or anything.
Yeah.
Just things are just coming at us.
Yeah.
And I think one of the first times we were like throwing things too.
Yeah.
Just to
we're
see.
throwing things back.
Yeah. Just to see like what's gonna happen, or like what is this? Like is it just
there
like
a
some
squirrel up there?
Yeah, some animal like messing with us. But then like, yeah, time goes on, even years, like every single time we're out there talking, things are being thrown at us from the same tree.
Yeah.
And I remember one time was so bad, like we ran inside.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know, even now, like one of the few, because we hung out, I don't know how many, maybe a couple months ago or something, and we're sitting out there, and then all of a sudden things are being thrown at us again.
Yeah, and whenever I'd go to the cemetery with a different group or whatever, it would happen where something would be thrown in front of us, and we'd stop or whatever because everybody's scared, and it's like, what was that? And then we'd like all back up, and something would be thrown behind us.
Ew.
And so we'd all be like backs turned, like back to back or whatever, looking for whatever this is. And I remember like after the first couple of times we realized like, okay, something keeps happening. And at first it was just your tree, and then it followed us to the creek and all those trees.
Yeah.
And then we'd look for whatever was being thrown, and we could never find what it was.
Yeah, and I always just assumed maybe like acorns, but then like it just seemed like heavier than that.
Yeah, and then we just gave the name Tree Demon or whatever, and it was just like every time something happened like that, it was like, it's just Tree Demon.
Yeah, there's one time that was like really scary. I told you about it recently, but like that girl down the street, whatever, she'd always have like parties and stuff, and we would be invited. I don't think you were here for this one, or like it was an overnight, so like it was like a bunch of girls or something. And we all go run to the park just for like fun, like creep each other out because it's dark, so we all run. We run to like a tree, but we run to like the parking lot that's like right there, where the basketball courts are. We all stop there. It's like super dark. Can't see anything. Can't see anything at all. We just like hear each other. We all know we're like around each other. We hear breathing, you know. And like you could see, like you adjust a little bit. You could see like close nearby.
Yeah.
We see we're near. We're like, all right, it's super dark. So somebody take out your phone. And like me and the girl from down the street, I believe, at the same time take out our phone. And then we point our like lights at the
into the darkness.
It's like this soccer field.
Yeah.
But it's just like a whole like patch
big
of like,
open field.
Yeah, of just dark black. And we both shine it up at the same time, and it's just this black figure like coming like walking super fast with like at us. And it was like coming like so like fast. I remember like it was just gonna be like right near us, like right away, and everybody sees it, and we all just bolt like out of there, and we never like kind of like look back, and it was pretty, yeah. One, ew, I hated that, but yeah, that's one. Yeah, and it was kind of crazy that happened because there were so many of us,
and it took a lot to scare us too back then, and even now, because like after a while. After so many times of us hanging out together, it was kind of like we know it's out here. Like it's us, and we know our surroundings, and we know our way around everywhere in the darkness. So everybody else is like out here with us now. Yeah. It's not we're out here with something, but there were things that would happen, like that drunk guy who came out from underneath the lamppost we saw. Remember that? And we were in the middle of the field, and then we look at each other, and we look back, and he's not there anymore, but he was walking towards us.
Yeah, we don't even get scared that... Oh, yeah, we don't get, like, super scared. We're like, all right, let's make a scene. I think we're always, like, real smart about it. Like, we just, like, turned the other way, and we started walking, and we kept turning around and, like, look and see.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden he was gone.
But he was just gone.
But he was coming towards us. Like, he was going our direction, which was weird. But, like, we never ran. We never, like, made it, like, to put, like, the attention on us.
Yeah.
We were just, like, walking fast, and then all of a sudden he was gone.
Yeah, but I said that because, like, we would do things to mess with people who went out to the park late at night. Like, there was that time we got a bunch of rocks and laid down in the field next to the playground. Because there were people playing on the playground. We'd throw rocks at stuff to scare them until they, like, eventually left. But, like, it was, like, yeah, we own the darkness in our neighborhood. But there was sometimes, like, weird things that would happen that it was weird. Like, there was that one time we were out there, and every time we got to a certain part of the street, that chain noise would come around us.
Oh yeah,
and it would put us in a circle, and when there was nobody around us, like it sounded like a dog leash, but the leash was like a chain link leash or whatever. But there's nothing out there to make that noise, and it kept getting closer and surrounding around us. And we ran away, and then we went all the way down the street through the neighborhood and came back out to go behind the houses on the same street to get to that point again to see if there was actually somebody there, but there wasn't. And once we got back to that same point, the chains came back out.
Dude, I have a weird, like, pulsating feeling in my left ear.
That's just your heartbeat.
No, like, it's like a pattern knock.
Ooh. Are you saying the demon's in your ear?
Dude, it keeps doing it.
It's a little wormy. There's a story
weird.
I read in elementary school. It was, like, one of those, like, scary stories to tell in the dark or whatever. But, a kid had, like, a worm in his ear, and it would whisper things to him. And nobody believed him.
That's cute.
Because only he could hear
Dude,
the voice.
I've never felt this. This is super weird.
He's probably a demon. He's probably crawling inside of you. We summoned him by talking about it.
It's like a knock.
A knock? Dude, we're almost at an hour. Did you know that?
Oh, for real?
Like, we're at 50 minutes, I think.
Are we actually, though?
Yeah. Because we're at 48.
Oh, wow.
And we've barely scratched the surface of our stories.
Yeah, I know. This is definitely, I think, going to be, like, a reoccurring thing. Because I really want, like, people on here.
To talk about
it. Because I have so many people. Like, and they're such good storytellers. Because, like, you know, they're, like, older and have experience. I don't know. And, like, they're always, like, real captivating. Because I guess that's their thing to do. To tell their grandkids stories.
The Lechusa.
Yeah, I want to do that. Wow, I really want to do that.
Yeah.
Call Momo. What are you doing?
I call my grandma, but we need a Ouija board.
Just get the fuck out of here.
So was that bad? I'm sorry. But yeah, my grandma had tons of stories that she told my mom.
Oh,
and so,
like, your mom
by
knows.
my mom, I know the stories.
Yeah.
But, like, I didn't know that until, like, my grandma had passed away, that she had tons of stories. And I was like, dang, she's, like...
Yeah, there's something about, like, them, you know, maybe it's, like, their age or whatever.
Yeah.
They have, like, a ton of stories.
maybe it was like the Native American blood in my grandma that just invited this stuff. But yeah, there's so many, and maybe I'll see it for next time or whatever. But because there's just so many things. Like I have 2 stories that I kind of want to talk about still. I feel like I've talked the most in this episode though. So like
yeah, but I think you also like go out and like seek that a lot more. So
well, I mean, if you have a story that I'm not involved in at all, tell it right now.
No, I can't even think of anything right now.
Dang it,
I just keep thinking of like the other people's stories because they're so like interesting.
Okay, well here's one of my other stapled stories or whatever. Wow, whatever. But let's set the scene. Nighttime. It was like, I think I was in 6th grade or 7th grade. So like 11 or 12. I come home late at night. It was after the rival football game between the 2 high schools in our town. Mm-hmm. Something that I've gone to every year or whatever, just because it's kind of like a spectacle. It's a thing. Is the school that we went to finally going to win? The answer is always no. But yeah, so I hung out with you and our group that we had back then. Actually, never mind. Maybe. But I got home. My dad had picked me up, and he like immediately went to bed. I hung out outside for a little bit just to look up at the sky or whatever. And whenever I came inside, all the lights were turned off because everybody's asleep, right? Mm-hmm. And I gotta kind of describe the entryway of my house so you can get like the full effect. But as soon as you walk into my front door, there's the entryway. It's kind of like a hallway, and straight ahead from the door there's a mirror on the wall, like a really big mirror, so you can see yourself as soon as you walk into the house. And right to the exact right of the mirror there's a hallway that branches off, and that goes into my youngest brother's bedroom, the laundry room, and my parents' master bedroom. And then on the left side, halfway through that little walkway or whatever, the entryway, it opens up into like a computer room and like a little library and like the living room, and that's like most of the house or whatever is over there. But as soon as you walk in directly into, like, as soon as you open the front door, if you do immediate turn to your left, that is where my other brother, who's super, super tall, he's always been tall, is. There's a closet right there. That's where my bedroom is. It's like a little short hallway, but it's immediately to the left, and that's what's important to the story. So I open the door. My dad's already in his room. I'm sure he's knocked out because he had to wake himself up to come pick me up from the high school stadium and then come back home or whatever. And so he was like immediately knocked out. So I was the only person awake that I knew of in the house. I open up the front door, and I have my Sprite with me because I was drinking a Sprite, cool little soda. And I turn around, lock the door. I'm walking to go put the rest of my Sprite into the fridge because it's late and I want to brush my teeth and go to bed. And I'm halfway through the walkway area, and I'm about to go into the opened area to go through the living room to get to the kitchen. And in the mirror, I notice from the hallway that you would have to turn immediately left as soon as you go inside to get to my bedroom or whatever. It's kind of like I see a figure poke its head out and look at me. And I see this in a reflection in the mirror or whatever. So it's like poking its head out from the hallway, and it's just like the top like right portion of this person's head and like kind of his shoulder. And I thought it was my brother, Josh. I thought it was Josh. And so I kind of like, I'm looking at it in the mirror or whatever, waiting for him to come back, like just to walk out to the kitchen or the living room or whatever, because maybe he was awake. And so I was just staring at this thing in the mirror that was behind me that I didn't want to turn around and look at because I figured he was just going to try to scare me or he was coming out to see who was here. But like a minute goes by, and it hasn't moved at all. It's just looking at me. So I said out loud before turning around, like, Joshua? And then it moved out a little more. And this might have been my like imagination embellishing the story a little more. But I at that point, when it poked out a little more, I swore I saw a horn on the head or whatever, like peeking out now. And I was like, what the heck? And at the time, I was like kind of scared, but I just thought it was him messing with me because he's super, super tall. Mm-hmm. And but looking at the figure more, I realized that the head there's no hair, like it's just the shape of a head. Yeah. The shoulder is a little more broad than my brother's, and his head is poking out, and it's almost touching the top of the hallway.
That's disgusting.
And I'm like, what is that?
Why is it just there?
And so I take a step forward or whatever, Oh, the wind scared me. I took a step forward, and it peeked out a little more, and that's when I like for sure saw like there's something on its head that I assumed was a horn.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, I said Joshua again. I was like, Joshua, is that you? And it kind of retreated a little bit, and I was like, what the heck is this thing? And so I I bring in the courage or whatever, and I turn around really quick, and I see it like duck back into the hallway.
Ew, that is.
And I'm like, what the heck? And so, and then at that point, I just kind of I was like, what was that? And I realized whenever I came inside, I didn't hear any doors open or close. And if he was in his room, I would have heard his door creak open.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what was that? So then I go into the kitchen, turn on the light, and I put in my Sprite, and I leave the light on, and I go back into walking past the mirror or whatever, and I go into that hallway, and all the doors are closed. My door's closed, his door's closed, bathroom door's closed, closet door's closed. And I I turn on the hallway light, and I creak open his door, so like if he is asleep, I don't wake him up.
Mm-hmm.
Open the door, he's fast asleep in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody else is in that section of the house.
Yeah.
And so I was like, what did I just see? And that freaked me out.
That's gross.
That
like
was-
always the thought of like a head peeking out from a
Yeah.
hallway was always like ew to me, and like ew, I could just picture it.
Yeah. And then like a week later, I was home alone, and I was reading in my room. I had my light on. I was laying on the floor or whatever, and I had the book in front of me, but I could see out of the corner of my eye, like right above the book, my door opened a little bit, and I saw a head peek out in the doorway.
What, dude?
And I was like, what? Because I know nobody is home. And it like kind of starts retreating a little bit. And I put my book down real quick, and there's nothing there. And I'm like, was that just my imagination because of what I saw a week ago? Or is there like actually a thing here?
Have you seen it since?
No. Maybe. Things have happened in my house since. But I don't know, like, there's enough to fill another episode.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I guess we're at that point.
Are we at that point? You want to cut off now? I have another story I can tell. It's kind of like a quicker one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Really have a setup or anything before.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so back in my house again, around the same time frame. I think this might have been 8th grade because I was doing a late night paper I was typing out. I gotta lay out the foundation of my house again.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is where the computer used to be. It's like in the corner of my house. So let's imagine like a square. I'm in the top left corner of the square, and to my like right ahead of me, there's a wall. To my right, there's the kitchen, and then right behind me is living room, big open living room space.
Mm-hmm.
The kitchen and the living room are separated by a countertop bar area where you could sit at or whatever. And so I can't see completely into the living room, but there's like a bar that separates. It kind of curves in or whatever. So anyways, and then part of the bar raises into like a full wall that separates, and that goes into like further part of the house.
Yeah.
And so I'm at the computer. I'm typing away. To my direct right is the kitchen, of course, which is open. I can see everything in the kitchen. And then directly behind me is the living room where I can see most of it. But because of this kitchen living room bar separation, I can't see parts of the living room. And it's really dark, really late at night. I'm typing away. Oh, yeah, and back then we had carpet. So there's carpeted living room. And then it cuts off into like a tile for the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I'm typing away on my computer, listening to music with my headphones, trying to finish this paper, banging it out real quick. At this point, it was like really late at night, really early in the morning, I guess. And I'm listening to the music. The song's kind of ending, so it's winding down. And I hear like a knock behind me. And so I take off my headphones. It's like probably, I was assuming it was my dad or one of my brothers coming out to the living room.
Mm-hmm.
Either my dad to check up on me or my brothers to like grab something from the kitchen, or maybe they forgot something in the living room.
Mm-hmm.
So I take off my headphones and I turn around, looking into the darkness. The computer light is like the only light in the house that's on right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like all the light that's lighting up everything else is from the computer, and it's like it cuts off to a point where it's just darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like a little
Yeah,
area
especially
of light.
since you just see that light, so your eyes are
Yeah, you're
like,
adjusting or whatever. So I turn around and I'm looking into the dark. Nobody's there. It's like, okay, maybe it was in the song, or maybe it was just like a sound, because sounds happen.
Yeah.
So I put my headphones back on and I keep typing, and I hear another knock, and it's a little louder this time. And the next song hasn't even started up yet. So I take off my headphones and I'm just like listening because I know nobody's there. So I'm just listening for what the sound is, because maybe it's a problem that, maybe somebody's throwing something in my house or whatever. And so I keep typing with my headphones off, listening and waiting. And I hear a knock, and it comes from where the countertop turns into a wall, and it's like a little bit of ways away into the wall or whatever, kind of near the entryway of the house or whatever, where you start walking into the living room. I heard a knock over there, and I was like, I pulled my chair back a little bit, and I made a noise or whatever, and I look around waiting for someone to walk into the kitchen or walk out into the living room where I can see them. There's nobody there, and I'm like, hello? Or whatever. Yeah. And no response because everybody's asleep. So I keep turn around. It's like, okay, I'm a little slow to get back to typing. Look at the time. It's 3:15 in the morning.
Oh,
it's
no.
like bewitching hour or whatever. Because back then that was when I was really into the ghosts and stuff or whatever with you. And so I was like well versed and well aware of what happened at 3 o'clock in the morning. So as soon as I saw that, I hear. Let's see if I can get this on. And that's me shuffling the feet on Valerie's carpeted room. I hear that from where I heard the last knock. And that's like behind the wall where I can't see. I'm like, okay, someone is here. And so I'm turned around, my arms on the back of my chair, and I'm just looking out to the darkness. And I hear this thing. Straight up, someone's dragging their feet from the entryway of the house going into the living room. And it's like, okay, I'm gonna see them when they pop out, because everybody's taller than the bar is, so I can see like a head at least, or like the top of my dad or whatever walking towards me. But I just keep hearing it. It keeps going. It's really slow, but it's continuous. And it got to a point where it was from behind the wall, but like where the bar was still blocking the view. And I was like, oh, someone's trying to be sneaky on me or whatever. Someone's sneaking up on me. Like, maybe it's one of my brothers on, their arms and legs trying to, crawl up behind me to scare me.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I was like, I got him, dude. Like, I'm watching them. I'm waiting for them to pop up. They probably think I have my headphones in still. And so it keeps going. And it got to a point where I feel like I should have seen this thing. Because it goes straight into the middle of the living room. Past where the bar is, so I can I should be able to see where this person is, but it is still dark and my eyes are still adjusting, and there's that little area of light that kind of distorts how far you can see if you're in that ball of light, and so I can't see that far in the living room completely. I can see shapes of the TV and the couches or whatever, but yeah, I didn't see anything, and then it stops and it starts up again, but this time it's coming straight for me. The sound's coming straight for me. It's not moving from left to right anymore. It's coming towards me from the center of the living room.
That's so gross.
And so at this point, it's like, okay, I'm about to see who this person is.
Yeah.
Because they're coming into the light. And I hear it. And at this point, I should see what it is. There's nothing there. And it stops as soon as it gets to the edge where the carpet and the tile meets. And that's at the edge of where the light is. And there's nothing there. And it stopped. It just dead stopped. And I was staring at this, whatever it was. And I can't remember if I did or didn't see an impression in the carpet. But I wouldn't be surprised if I did.
Yeah.
But it was just, it stopped. I was staring at it. I didn't want to turn my back to whatever this thing was. Because I couldn't see anything. I just heard this thing travel across my house and come straight towards me.
Yeah.
And, yeah. It freaked me out. I eventually
gross.
Did turn around, put my headphones on, and finish my paper.
Oh, hell no. I would have, turned on the lights. I don't know.
No, that was...
Looked around.
It was weird.
Wow. No. That would have freaked me out.
Yeah, if I was freaked out, but I was like, I gotta do this paper.
Last minute or what?
It was.
3 a.m.
Yeah, that's how I do things.
Ew.
But, yeah, so... We're in an hour, 5 minutes or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that was not even a lot of
I
stories.
know. I feel like, yeah. All right. You can, obviously, if you're listening to this, like it or dislike it. Subscribe if you're not already. We upload every Wednesday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All the social media, everything's Planet Pariah, or you could just search Planet Pariah Podcast.
Yeah. Twitter,
That's it.
Instagram.
Yeah, all the social. Yeah, we have all of them. Twitter, Instagram.
Yeah.
We have
we're
Reddit,
mainly active
Facebook.
on those two.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you did like these sort of topic or whatever, or this like kind of, I guess, the themed episode where we only talked about this one thing,
Oh yeah.
like let us know and then tell us what, or ask us what you, I don't know, let us know what you want to hear us talk about next, because we're totally gonna come back to this,
Yeah.
like this topic, because that was like scratching the surface of what we have and what we've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus you said you want to bring your mom on. I could probably bring my mom on too.
Yeah, or my grandma. My grandma's really good at storytelling.
Okay, I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
We should like light candles and stuff.
Yeah.
And like we didn't even talk about how I played with the Ouija board and what happened after that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like so many more things like we could talk about when it comes to
Yeah.
this stuff. So like conspiracy theories, anything.
Oh yeah.
Let us know, because we're interested.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you certain things.
So yeah, whatever you want to hear us talk about, let us know, and we'll totally like jump on it. Again, you can always ask us questions on Twitter, Instagram, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We'll do like another Q&A, like hopefully an actual Q&A if people actually ask us
Oh
stuff.
yeah, not us making up
Not
questions.
us just asking us questions.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this has been episode 10. The first 10 episodes are out at this point if you're hearing this.
Yeah, and I feel like, well, with the last 2, we've gotten better quality of audio.
I feel good.
So it feels nice. Like, we
So
got it figured out.
We're
Sort
gonna
of.
keep going.
You know? Yeah.
More adventures, more things to be put out.
Obviously, we want to add to it, like intro, outro music and stuff. But,
Yeah,
you know, at
maybe
least we
it'll
got the
even be on
recording
this.
down.
Yeah. We got the basics down.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe even like on this episode we'll have an intro and stuff.
Ooh, we
Maybe.
could put, like, spooky music.
You'll totally know. Like at this point you'll know.
Yeah,
Okay.
you had already heard it.
This might be edited out. I don't know.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, but yeah. We're gonna go.
Outro music. Adios.
Should
It's
we
been
do
fun.
themed outro music?
Um,
Ooh,